the innovator workforce. Commit your firm to be a risk capital partner in the kind of Peru Moonshot Fund that John was talking about earlier today. Finally, how can we bring together innovative capacity and entrepreneurship capacity in a way that's focused for the economic strategy of Peru? Cluster-led economic strategy enhances the payoffs to innovation-based entrepreneurship. Last year, Mike Porter talked to you about a preliminary mapping that's been done, and there have been several of them now, of the Peru cluster environment. It's clear that one of the advantages of Peru has is nascent clusters that leverage comparative advantage. That having been said, the Peru cluster environment is good in terms of its current economics, but there aren't the kinds of institutions for collaboration, the kind of long-lived institutions that ensure that the cluster can move up the value chain in a more sustainable and enduring way. Just to give you a kind of sense of what I mean by that. Think about the Australian wine industry. And the reason I picked this is because the Australian wine industry Australia was 25 years ago also considered a country that was beset by a resource curse. It had so many resources, how could it move up the value chain? Okay? Also, 25 years ago, none of you would have ever had Australian wine. Over the past 25 years, we've seen explosive and tremendous growth in the Australian wine industry. How did that happen? Did it just all of a sudden come out of nowhere? No. It came through the development of an innovation-oriented institutions for collaboration, training institutes to teach winemakers how to adapt traditional varieties to the Australian soil. Actually, just basic R&D in figuring out what might work in Australia, what kinds of varieties would work and not work. Moreover, the Australians really made an investment in taking a more science-based approach to wine relative to the traditional industry in countries like France, where somebody sniffs an oak bottle and hopes for the best, right? Instead, they took information technology, much more careful monitoring. Ultimately, they were able to build upon their pre-existing cluster strengths to create a new cluster, the wine cluster, which itself has served as the foundation for performance going forward. The Australian wine cluster has been a tremendous driver of Australian export-oriented growth for almost 2 decades now. And moreover, if you dig in